Okay. Hi, welcome to the project. I'm going to call it. I'm changing every time I'm talking. I'm changing, but let's talk about that projects we're working on right here, right now. Because in order to see clarity under pressure, we need to have our tools. So, number three is prioritize the task. Not all tasks are created equal, especially when you're under pressure. Identify which tasks are the most urgent and important and focus on those first. So it's very interesting. There is a tool that is called the Eisenhower matrix to categorize tasks by urgency and importance, helping you to prioritize effectively. Now, to be honest with you, when you're looking at what needs to be done, what needs to be prioritized, do the list what's urgent and put the list. Maybe you need, again, well, let's take the example of the fire, which I think it's a very good example. The first thing for me was shelter. I needed a shelter for my dogs and myself. And that was the first step. Somewhere I could rest, sleep, and stay safely with my dogs. So that was task number one. And so imagine my head wasn't there. I had absolutely no clue because I was seeing and watching my house burning down to a crisp. And luckily, again, because of Jerry, she was basically a godsend on this one. Said, okay, you need a shelter, yeah, and I needed clothes. I needed a new pair of shoes because, again, my shoes got flooded when I stepped into that puddle. Cannot believe it. It was ridiculous. And again, because of the thousands of gallons that were pouring of water, that forget about it. There was no need for, I couldn't find any of my shoes at that point because the one I had in the entryway were already on the ground in the driveway. It was a fourplex. So, number one was shelter. Number two, clothes, because I needed change of clothes. Just got sweatpants on. Did I had a jacket? I think I had maybe a jacket that I had that on. I think, yeah, something like that. And I took a long shirt, and that was it, pretty much, and under the undergarment, and that was it. So clothing was the number two. Food was a priority. So I was said three was the clothing, two was the food because I wanted to make sure my dogs had food. So I prioritized everything. What do I need? I need all of this, plus I need funds. I need a lot of things that needed to take place, but I made the list. What is critical? And even if let's say, we're talking about life right now, even work, when you're working on projects, you have to look at what is critical and that will paralyze or stop everything in track. So let's say you are at home and you have to pay bills. Which one is the most critical? Is it the electricity? Is it your subscription for like Netflix? What is critical? Your phone bill to pay? Internet? What is critical in your life? Then you need to pay attention. And I'm using bills, but you can use anything for yourself. Okay? What is critical? Is it the care if you have a husband and children and yourself? Who should be taken care of first? Should be you, by the way. Because if you're the caretaker of your husband and children, you should take care of yourself first, which means instead of putting yourself last on that list, you should be number one. You should be able to, because if you're not 100%, how can you help and support your family? Quote unquote. Okay? So those are examples. But prioritize what will help you to get things rolling. And you're going to say, well, am I everything? Okay, but there is one that's the most important. So take the first one, two, and three and focus on this, and you go to the next level and to the next and to the next and to the next. This will help you. And remember, do the breathing exercise first. That will help you to stay grounded and help you to prioritize effectively. Not like I'm gonna just take everything, throw into the ceiling, and see what's gonna stick. So, this was for today our tools to prioritize the task, because that to me is a very important. And again, if you are in a situation, let's say you're stressed out, and I'm going to give another example of um, y- it's not it's not working anymore at work. You're outgrown that position, and you know it, you feel it, you see it, and you're stressed out because now you have a new manager who is breathing over your shoulders day in and day out, and it's not going well. What should be your first priority? Well, my first priority will make sure that my job is done properly. Two, I will brush up my resume immediately, put it out there, and start to apply for jobs, because we know when it's time to move. Continue to keep a peaceful environment as much as possible. Do a lot of breathing, being grateful for the job you've got, and go to the interview. And by the way, when you apply for jobs, don't take the first one, take the right one. Because sometimes, and I've seen it quite often, people are jumping boat very quickly, instead then, running away scared. Instead, and said, okay, this is where I'm at today. So let's focus on finding a better job instead than going to another environment, same situation, same repeat, same stress. We don't want to repeat the same cycle. So again, prioritize your task. If you're building a house or if you're doing some remodeling, what is the most urgent? What do you need to acquire first in order to get it? Because maybe you need the supply first before you start to tear on everything, tear up the walls and everything else. You need your supply so it's ready to go. Work in a fashion way that makes your life easier, not harder. Simplify everything. It's going from point A to B, not XYZ. A lot of people complicate their lives instead than simplifying it. When you start to simplify your life, simplify the problem to the core, you can find the solution and the way to accomplish everything in an easier way. So think about it. This was our tip number 3. Prioritize task in your little toolbox. We'll talk to you soon.